Welcome back, everyone, to another round of Premier League football. We are reacting to game week 10. It's just gone Halloween, so happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you had your outfits all for display. A man that I know definitely in his stilettos. I'm joined by Alex, as always. How are you doing, Alex?
Yeah, I'm good. I thought you was going to say who still hasn't taken off his Halloween mask. So I'll take the stilettos. I'll take them and I will wear them. I'll wear them well. I'm not going to lie. It's going to make them look good.
I bet you strutted around the place at home in those stilettos. If you're new here, subscribe, give us a like. It will massively help us out. But what have we got on today's show? We've got a cracker once again. We've tried to promise you that we weren't a Man United podcast, but we've got winners and losers of the weekend. As usual, we've got Tottenham versus Man United and everything coming out of that game. And we've got Aston Villa versus West Ham. And finally, goal of the week. Now, usually we start with winner of the week, but we have to go straight to loser of the week because we know who it is. We know who it is, and it's breaking news. Is Nuno, I don't even know how to say the rest of his name, Despacito Santo, has got sacked. It's been made official by Tottenham earlier today, and we're going to do a special segment. We're going to talk about Nuno. We're going to talk about Tottenham. We're going to talk about Antonio Conte, who's apparently in advanced talks. I assume the only way they got him back into advanced talks is by offering him 50% more from what 4 months ago or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, we're here to talk about Nuno. And who best to talk about Tottenham, Nuno and Conte, Alex, who has the unenviable position of supporting Tottenham.
I thought this was a Manchester United podcast. What are you doing? Do you know the worst thing is about that comment is we covered quite a lot of Manchester United. That's only because they have been so newsworthy. We don't advertise it, so we do all the Man United stuff. We get none of the benefits because we don't say it's really we don't advertise it as a Man United thing. So we cover them and we get no benefits from it. But go ask me about Tottenham. What are you going to say?
Well, the Tottenham clear losers of the week for me. Really, I mean, terrible display. Nuno's only been at the club for 4 months. He was what? 5th, 6th, 7th on the pecking order in terms of managerial hires for Tottenham. And he was given the job. Everyone, proven correctly, was saying how he was not the right man for the job. Stylistically, yeah, it didn't work in people's brains. And, you know, I was thinking, whilst Tottenham were going through this difficult spell over the last 9-10 games, right? He had a similar spell with Wolves at the beginning of last season. That's fine with Wolves. Wolves, different club, different expectations. But in my mind, whilst I was going through it, I was like, it's not going to last long. He can't have the same form for Tottenham. And I was proven right. The axe has fallen on Nuno's head. Maybe talk about how doomed it was from the start, I guess.
Do you know what? Actually, as soon as you asked that, I think that's what I was going to touch on. It's just like kind of I think he was the wrong man for the wrong job at the wrong time, and he never stood a chance. I firstly want to say, I like Nuno. You know, he always comes across quite well. He's always quite well spoken. He seems like kind of like a genuinely
very honest man.
Yeah, very honest man. I feel for him because I feel like he was always destined to fail because I feel like he hit the right notes with like kind of stylistically. And I think it's not just like kind of necessarily he's like kind of the way he attacks, but it's also like kind of Wolves weren't known as being like kind of a massive pressing side. They were usually like kind of in and around the bottom of like kind of pressing statistics. And I feel like it was just, you know, it was a match made in hell. And it add to the fact that he was available for so many months and Tottenham went all the way round the houses until they eventually went for him. And it was never going to work. He was never going to get the time. And I feel like he bore the brunt of a lot of like kind of Tottenham fans being unhappy with what is going on at the club. But I feel like he's actually not to blame. So I feel like, you know, I feel quite bad for him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still don't believe he was the right person to be managing Tottenham. But I feel like he's getting a lot of blame for stuff which isn't his fault. He's just tried to take it on, tried to do his job. I don't think he stood a chance.
The person that escapes a lot of the criticism is Daniel Levy. Still, somehow, if you can track it back all the way back to letting go Mauricio Pochettino. Okay, he had Mourinho in mind, and that transition was very smooth, very quick, but still was very much the wrong decision in hiring Mourinho. A couple months later, a year and a bit later, sack him. We have a caretaker manager, and then at 6s and 7s in the summer to try and appoint the right man, and can't attract anyone. So for me, I feel like Daniel Levy has a large portion of the blame for this.
Yes and no. It's weird. So you say you got off scot-free. I think actually within like kind of the Tottenham fan base, I don't think he does get off scot-free. I think there's a lot of people who, I think it's not just him, but they're turning on Enick, who are the people who own Tottenham. I feel, you know what, I had a bit of an epiphany about Daniel Levy the other day, in that I wonder if someone actually bought Tottenham and kept him in charge, and someone actually invested into Tottenham, because it's the people above Daniel Levy that's not investing, right? I mean, Levy is partner. I do wonder, would he all of a sudden become really good at his job because he's good at doing business deals, he's good at negotiation? Is it just like kind of the template he's been given to like kind of be that? Do you know
I think that's his style. That's what I mean. He may not have wanted it, but he's grown into this way of working. And once you release the purse strings, I don't feel like he's been that effective in terms of the right strategy, because you go through couples this summer, and then you got a couple of seasons ago, the last summer they spent a lot of money from the Gareth Bale money. Didn't really work out. So that's 2 now. It's a bit early to say this season. Fine. But he's better off operating as a shrewd, canny buyer. Same sort of criticism that I had with Arsene Wenger as well.
No, I think you hit it now on the head. As I say, it's more like kind of an epiphany, a passing thought. I was curious because I don't think we'll ever know what Daniel Levy would be like, you know, like if he was actually given a lot of money to spend. But I definitely think he's like kind of partly to blame. I think there's been like kind of numerous people, but I think Levy and the owners, I think a lot of the blame sits with them.
Okay. Yeah, who would have known? Sacks before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So we're talking Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte, in advance talks, word on the street, i.e. Twitter, is that he's getting an 18-month deal and certain promises that the squad is going to be invested in, right? My original opinion, right? Okay, you may call me an Arsenal fan or whatever. From the outside looking in, he seems to me like he's a win now manager, right? But he doesn't have the win now squad at all, right? Usually it takes at least 2 windows to get things sorted out, in my opinion, to implement a play style, tactics. It can happen faster, you know, with good managers and whatnot. You still need the right players, and you still have the issue of Harry Kane being unhappy. Maybe he'll be fine because he has a pedigree manager in Antonio Conte. Maybe that will sort itself out. But 18 months sounds a bit odd to me.
So there's a few things. One, we don't know if it's going to happen yet. Because shall I tell you what? I've seen Fabrizio
Romano. We're speculating. We've got nothing else to speculate.
No, you're like this. You're like this. I've seen Fabrizio Romano. I've seen him like kind of saying that it's almost done. But I feel like if you remember a few months ago when Tottenham were apparently close to Conte, he said, "Here we go." He gave it the "here we go" sign of approval.
Oh my God! He actually gave it the "here we go." That whole time, I just didn't believe it was going to happen.
I did. So which is why I'm being a bit more careful this time. But he gave it the "here we go" sign of approval, and he got burnt. So I feel like this time he is waiting. He's going to wait for the Tottenham Twitter to update us, and then he will probably do the "here we go." It's quite funny you said 18 months because I've seen a 3-year contract. So it's one of them though, isn't it? Like different people get different like kind of information.
They're probably just in the middle of negotiating. That's probably why.
But if it is 18 months, I do make you right. I think someone like Conte, you do need to give him a few years. And do you know what I think the big change has been in Tottenham's stance? Is apparently Tottenham, obviously they're open to offering him a bit more money. But they would have definitely, and I'm sure of it, they would have offered him money to spend in January and in the summer. They definitely wouldn't have been like, because Conte, he likes to spend money. He's done it at like kind of most of the clubs he's been at. For him to be successful, he needs to spend a bit of money, get the players in. He needs. So there's no way. I don't think he's going to take this job and not be given some form of, moolah.
Yeah, it's weird. I thought Antonio Conte was really waiting for a big move, really waiting for like a move where it allows him to challenge for the title. Maybe all the power is with him. 18-month contract. He knows Daniel Levy's he's a canny guy, so he probably asked for 18 months. Will Tottenham prove to him that they're spending the right amount of money in those 12 months? And then maybe he'll extend it. So all the powers with him. He's probably asked for a ridiculous wage as well, probably like 11 million per annum or something like that.
Do you know the one thing I think that worries me is, let's not get this let's get this right. Conte is a world-class manager, right? He's up there. He's one of the best in the world. And I would actually go as far to say that with a few transfers, he's got certainly a starting 11. I wouldn't say a squad, but he's got a starting 11 which he could work with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think they could get to that. I think in a few transfers they could get to quite a good level. My problem is Conte does not fit with Tottenham. The last few clubs he's left, so that's Inter, Chelsea, and Juventus. Yeah, it's always left with rumours that he's usually the people above him, and who is worse to be above than Levy. So it feels like to me it's just a matter of time before Conte says, "I need this player to be successful." Levy says, "Well, we can't afford him." The blow up happens, and he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that not to be true, because I do genuinely believe you give him enough time and money, he will be successful at most clubs. But I just feel like the blow up will probably happen because Levy and Conte, something there doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't seem like a good partnership at all. But plus, yeah, Conte needs to do it, but he needs good foundations in place at the right club. Okay, we have to move on back to winner of the week. Winner of the week. All right. Would you like to go first? I got two people in mind, but as usual, you'd like to go first.
No, go on. You can go first. I'll be
okay.
Go on.
It's got to be Chelsea and Reece James, right? This turned out to be a pretty perfect weekend for Chelsea. Man City lost. Liverpool drew. Well, Tottenham, Man United, I guess it wasn't really, it didn't really matter to them. But those were the two big results for Chelsea. And, Reece James, 2 goals, both on his left foot. Pretty amazing stuff. So it's just, the race is hotting up, right? As good as Man City and Liverpool are, Chelsea are just the silent killers currently.
I don't think they're that silent. What
do you mean?
I think people are well aware that Chelsea are up there with Liverpool and City for challenging for the title.
Yes, but I think because Liverpool and Man City have probably been more in the spotlight in terms of playing the bigger games. So, their title worthiness seems more because Man City beat Man United and they also beat Chelsea. And Liverpool, obviously, they played Man City. Did I get that wrong? Man City, Man United? No.
No, they play this weekend. That's why you're confused.
They play this weekend. Yeah, but sorry, Liverpool beat Man United 5-0. And just seemed like an unworldly team at the moment. But they came crashing back down to earth, with a draw against Brighton. So Chelsea, they've done really well other than losing to Man City, in my opinion, and drawing against Liverpool. So they've done everything else perfectly that they need to do, beat everyone else.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I feel like you've kind of done it. They're winners by default because City.
That's the one nominee. Let other people decide who the winner is. Second winner of the week is Patrick Vieira.
Okay,
Patrick Vieira. I have a lot of love for this man in my heart from past past glories, but I'm putting my Crystal Palace hat on, mainly because Crystal Palace, they've been playing really well over the last like 6-7 games. They've had a lot of draws, but they've been really putting in very good performances where the results haven't quite gone their way. They did win against Tottenham, and it came in a big way, big way against City. They should have gotten a win against Arsenal as well. Can't forget that. They were 2-1 to the good. Well, good for their money. And then Arsenal nicked a point right at the end. But yeah, I just feel that him being winner of the week, him beating Man City, is a culmination of all the hard work, the good foundation that he's put in over the summer, really building up the team's fitness and, putting a structure in place. And then you sprinkle around some really dangerous players. You got Gallagher and you got Zaha. It makes for a very potent team. So I think finally they've got a result which they deserved.
Don't forget to add Eze to that, like the forgotten man. He's just returned to fitness. I think he's going to play a few under 23 games to like kind of get his fitness up. But you got Eze to add to that as well. To add to what you're saying, so my winner of the week is definitely Patrick Vieira, and it feels like times be changing at Selhurst Park. There's a new way, there's a new style being adopted. And I definitely feel like you hit the nail on the head where they've been putting a lot of kind of good performances, but not necessarily getting a result, and everything just came together against City. Vieira got the win, which I feel like okay, it was a standard like kind of City performance. But they got that win, which I'd say that performance maybe like the past few performances had deserved. Let's talk about that game really quickly, right?
Yeah.
It was a standard Pep Guardiola loss that we've come to like.
Yeah,
expect.
Super frustrating. Like for some reason, just feels super toothless with all that possession.
Dominated possession, had more shots, like kind of by quite a bit. But I think they had the same amount of shots on target, if we're going to be fair, and if my brain remembers correctly. And then the frustration sets in, which we do see from kind of City. And I feel like as soon as that happens now with City, as soon as that frustration sets in, and because what a lot of teams do, as soon as they go 1-0 up against Chelsea, against City, like they do make it frustrating for them. They're time waste. They're like kind of they do what they can to make it annoying for them. I feel like as soon as they get to that point, there's no way back for City. They always struggle to come back, and it doesn't happen often, right? How they've lost 2 games this season. It very rarely happens. When they do get to that point, they always struggle to come back. Now, there's no point blowing that Crystal Palace City game out of proportion because let's be honest, they have those types of results every season and they're still racking up the silverware, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to, as I say, not bad proportion. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. If City had signed Kane, right? If City had signed Kane in the summer, would games like these become more infrequent for City?
No, because they have a problem of creating clear-cut chances. It's difficult because it's 10 men we're talking about, right? That to play with.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, they're very well structured, right? Under Patrick Vieira, and they're quite an athletic team, and they work hard. So 10 men against that team, it's going to be difficult to break down, especially when they're just waiting for you to counterattack. I think overall, of course, if you add Harry Kane, it's just another person to worry about constantly. But Jack Grealish is getting a lot of stick. It's kind of weird. I mean, he hasn't got the goals and assists, but he's creating a lot of chances for Manchester City.
You got to give him time as well. But it's not, he was playing at Aston Villa where he's the man. He's gone to a different system, a completely different style of play. It takes time. It takes time.
I would have much preferred if Man City paid 100 million plus for Harry Kane instead of Jack Grealish. But, hey, not in charge. But, I think you're right in the fact that these sort of games will probably not happen as much. But it would have still been a very difficult game, 10 men down against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I agree. So before we move on, right, it'd be an absolute disservice if we didn't talk about Palace really quickly. And I don't know if you saw the interview after, but Pep hinted in the interview afterwards that City were a bit unlucky. And I think
what do you think about the red card? I actually thought the defender was on the way back. I didn't think it was a red card. I'm going to annoy a lot of Crystal Palace fans here, but
Palace fans won't care. Palace fans will not care. They've got the 3 points. The game's over.
yeah, true.
It's.
I think the left back was on the cover.
It's a really
now the other red cards this weekend, absolutely. But, and even asked Aubameyang should have got the defender carded for complete maul down.
We'll get onto that, but I think for that red card, I think it's difficult because I'm really 50-50. But it's something that I always say, right? You can't give the referee that choice.
No, it was a stupid change.
As soon as you give the referee that decision to make, it's no longer the referee. Like you've given him a 50-50 choice, and he's gone against you. So it's like as tough as it is to make that decision, whether it's right or wrong. The City player still made a silly decision. But the thing I was saying there, what was I saying? You rudely interrupted me.
What about the Pep's interview?
That's right. He said City were unlucky. I think that's a bit unfair. Let me rephrase. I think Palace made their own luck because Pep is right. They had more shots and Palace did defend really, really well. They're getting a lot of bodies online and doing a lot of blocks. But that was all made possible because Palace, in the very early stage of the game, they were unafraid and they were happy to press City. And they managed to get that first goal. And, if they had just sat back for the first minute, which a lot of teams do against City, right? Mm-hmm. It would have been a completely different game. But the fact they were brave, the fact they went for it and they actually tried to go for the game and they were able to get that goal, they had something to defend. So, yeah, sure, City had more shots than that. But I do think Palace deserve a bit more credit than, maybe they were a little bit lucky. I think they earned that. I think they deserve a lot of credit for that win.
There are 3 teams in this league that I never, ever, ever want to hear their manager saying that they were unlucky. That's Man City.
I reckon it's Man City.
Yes.
Chelsea.
Yes.
Manchester United.
Yes.
You
don't want to ever hear it. It's not unlucky. It's unlucky that you didn't spend like $1 billion on your squad. Okay, that's just nip it in the bud. That one.
I feel like you're still a bit burnt from Fergie time. I feel like that burnt a lot. I mean, I'm a Tottenham fan. Okay, for those of you who don't know, right? But it's not just like kind of Arsenal and Manchester United used to burn. I witnessed Pedro Mendes from almost a halfway line in the ball into the net. It went. Where's the camera? It went into the goal by about that much. Roy Carroll goes into the goal,
the drunk,
and the ref blows and goes, "No, they go over the line." I'm like, what in the world is happening right now?
Yes. So I don't ever want to hear that from any of those managers. Final nominee, right? Arsenal Hound, but I feel like this is actually deserved. It's Aaron Ramsdale.
He did make a very good save.
Amazing. He had an amazing game. He's played really well the last 6 games. And I think I really wanted to finally talk about him, mainly because I was like, he's been doing well, but this performance was the performance that kind of proved to everyone, most people watching, obviously with the amazing save that he did to stop Maddison's free kick going in. But his distribution was pretty damn amazing in this game. He saved everything that came out. It's just a culmination of he was getting a lot of criticism from the Arsenal fans and the wider Premier League fans of like, what on earth?
I would say, it was everyone. It was Arsenal fans, it was Tottenham fans, City, United, Villa fans. Everyone was.
Yeah. Why are you spending 30 million on a backup goalkeeper, right? And a goalkeeper that played for Sheffield United. I forgot the team before.
Bournemouth.
Was it Bournemouth? Yeah. I mean, teams that don't really try and play out the back, it made no sense,
Can I wait? Because I think I know where you're going. Can I just say, I know why he got the stick, right? Because football fans, they like it easy. Like it easy. And you spent 30 million on a backup goalkeeper that got relegated twice. And it makes it an easy target because any football fan can throw that sentence together and throw it at them. So, but I think, you're saying he's playing really well now and almost proving them wrong, right?
Yeah, 22 years old, just showed a lot of guts and, voted third worst signing of the summer. I'm just saying.
By who?
I think the whole league. I'm sure Arsenal. I'm sure Arsenal fans voted for that as well. But it's just I'm not going to talk about him too much for the rest of the season. So I just wanted to give him his dues and then move on, unless he starts doing that save every single week. But
I just want to add, I do. I don't actually even think he's proven people wrong. I feel like with Ramsdale, I think everyone's known for a while that he's got potential, and and I feel like he's just showing that. And I feel like, but he did get the a lot of the brunt end of the football world banter. I think as I say, he was an easy target. So maybe he sleeps a bit better at night, knowing that he can make them eat their words a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't let him affect it. Let it affect him. Most important thing for young players is to play as many games as possible when you're young. Doesn't matter for who. Play as much as you can. Do not be a reserve. Just play.
But most play within your. Don't be like Wilshere, because Wilshere. I don't know if you see this. A few weeks.
Don't get broken.
You want to be between Wilshere and. My mind's gone blank. Someone who sits on the bench all the time.
Scott Parker.
What? I
don't know.
I can't think of a bench warmer. Should we say I've got Solskjaer in my head, but he was a fantastic. He was a fantastic bench warmer.
Yeah,
Mahrez. We go Mahrez.
No.
He's like 29.
That's a terrible example.
I don't know. You know where?
We'll move on.
They will come at once. They will come at once.
Game of the week, number 1. And that is Aston Villa versus West Ham United. What a game. Got it late. It was a Sunday night game. What a cracking game. West Ham United ran out winners. I just got a question for you. Halloween question. Halloween themed question. Trick or treat? Right.
Treat.
Do we get excited about West Ham's Champions League chances? We talked about it last year. Didn't end up being the case. But this year, because Man United do not seem, as consistent based on the quality of the squad that they have. Arsenal are good now, but they can be a mess as well. Tottenham are in a mess. Leicester.
I was going to say you can't have Arsenal and Tottenham in that conversation.
No. I'm just adding context. These are the reasons why we're talking about West Ham, because these teams classically got in there. They're not up to the chase at the moment. And Leicester City struggling with Europe and form in the Premier League. It's wide open.
Of course, it's time to get excited about West Ham potentially getting Champions League. They're on a journey with Moyes.
Treat,
I suppose. They're on a fantastic journey with Moyes. And I think you hit it now on the head, right? First, second, and third. I would be very surprised if it is not a combination of City, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
Nailed on.
Right? So that leaves fourth. And that is wide open. And right now, West Ham are the fourth best team in the Premier League. So why not? I'd say to West Ham fans, it's difficult, right? Because everyone, I don't know.
Just don't let Antonio get injured, then you're in trouble.
Well, yeah, those goddamn hamstrings. You need to just look after him. I think, yes, of course, get excited. And I think West Ham fans, maybe it's a bit early for them, because I think, especially when you've supported kind of a team who's been a mid-table team, maybe had relegation recently, you hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I feel like right now they're just going to prepare for, they might just kind of get Europe or might even fall down. But I'd say if they're still in and around there, come the new year, start daring to dream.
Yep. Ideally, just get out of Europe quickly and then focus on the league. There's 2 players I want to get your opinion on. Not just for this game, but also the last couple of weeks. Firstly, it's Ben Johnson. Got a great cracking goal. Left foot, cut inside, boom. And Declan Rice, who got the second, right? These players are performing pretty well for West Ham. Maybe Ben Johnson's one that you just didn't expect.
So Ben Johnson, right? He had, I believe, this is from my West Ham knowledge here, I'm searching it. He always had quite a high ceiling, but I believe when he was younger, he may have had a few injury problems. So he was kind of held back a little bit. And I think what has been really amazing to me is Sufal got injured and he's come in and he's just maintained that level. I would almost actually, I'm not going to say that because Sufal was consistent for the whole season, right? He was really good for the whole of last season, but Johnson has kept a very similar level of performance. And for such a young kind of kid, I think that is really, really impressive for Ben Johnson. I think, and it's nice that he's kind of capped off these round of games with a goal as well. So I think that's brilliant. And Declan Rice, right?
Declan Rice, the bouncer. Yeah.
Well, no. See, that's disrespectful. Shall I tell you why? Well, no, because Declan Rice is going through what all good English players go, right? Is every other fan likes to put barriers in front of it, right? You would have had it like kind of over the years. Tottenham fans had it with like kind of Kane. And now they're having the same thing. And you know what? Rice, season upon season, he's adding stuff to his game. And he is getting better. And it's a scary thought. He could really become one of the top players in the world. You know, like kind of, he's like, don't get me wrong, he's not going to like turn into an Iniesta and, you know, like just start dancing around people.
Or Busquets.
You know, No, he could reach that kind of Busquets level, you know, that sort of position where, you know, the whole team will be in and around him.
Well, I don't know about Busquets. Busquets is the best holding midfielder I've ever seen other than Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, but Rice he's 22. You know, he's got so and he's improving year on year.
Confidence he would have got from the Euros as well. Yeah, I mean that's all that Declan Rice needs to do. Just continue with the consistency, add a bit of output, and you know, improve his like short distance passing. You know, his ability to one touch in the midfield, and then he could get there. He could definitely get there, in my opinion. There were question marks over, you know, during his time at England. He was probably just charging about like a crazy man that he had to be subbed off because, I mean, his intensity output was unreal. So it becomes okay. West Ham is more of his team. He expands his role. He has to be relied upon for 90 minutes. Like that's the next level, I think, to do all of those things at once.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I think a few of them he's doing already, but you know, I think almost like watch this space, you know, because he, as I say, he's improving every season.
Okay, so West Ham, they're good, you know, treat, right? Aston Villa.
You gonna say trick?
No.
Oh, good.
Losing 4 on the bounce, right? He's got some alarm bells ringing. We talk about Aston Villa. We talked about Aston Villa earlier in the season. We talked about them being in trouble, and then like 2 weeks later, we talked about them having like the performance of their season already. There were shoots of life with the players in the performance, but new signings haven't really brought Villa the much needed end product they needed, right? Buendia, he got an assist, but before that he scored 1 goal and he didn't have an assist. And he did cost a pretty penny, I think, what, £38 million. Leon Bailey, you know, showed that he can be a very good spark plug. And the rest of the players like Traore, John McGinn's done really well as well. But all of that together doesn't quite seem like enough. And they're struggling without Jack Grealish. Tyrone Mings as well, who's been left out of the game. Struggled a lot in recent weeks. I talk about Tyrone Mings as like I talk about him from an England perspective. When he's in the England squad, I'm super scared that he's just going to make a mistake and he's capable of like costly errors. He hasn't quite done that this season, but he hasn't, you know, been performing that well.
I think the thing to remember with that as well, just to add on Mings, like I think Mings is he's a good defender. You know, I wouldn't.
Yes.
I'd say, but I don't think he's Aston Villa's best centre back. As a matter of fact, no. I don't think he's Aston Villa's best English centre back. So, you know, it's like I think that's, you know, it kind of says kind of quite a lot. Because I know you just talked about his England performances, but I'd say if I was to pick someone for the England squad, maybe not after what happened this week, But certainly for last season, it probably would have been Conte.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Do you think he's lost confidence? It's a bit difficult. It's a massive call by Dean Smith to leave him out. Didn't work in the end.
Here's the thing: Dean Smith has been trying to find a system to fit both Watkins and Ings, right? So he's like he's gone to 3 at the back and he's got 2 up front, and it's not been working for him, and it's not been working for him at all well. And against West Ham, he reverted to a back 4, and he reverted to a formation which I thought would probably do him best. And you saw Buendia get an assist. That's because he's playing in a position that he always used to play for at Norwich. He was on that right wing. You got Bailey on the left. Now Ings was unavailable, and another key player that was also not available for this game is Luiz, and he is a very, very good player. And so I feel like they would have had an impact, but it was good to see he reverted back to a 4-3-3. And I would say for the first half, it was a little bit even, but then they didn't really have a chance, from the red card onwards. So, yeah.
Yes, let's talk about that, right?
Okay, go on.
Had a lot of potential red cards. It did end up with 1 potential red card. Dean Smith was quite upset at the Conte red card. What did you make of it? I'll let you know what my opinion is right after.
I think it's a red. I do think it's a red. I don't like slow motion. I feel like everything looks worse in slow motion. Even if you're watching boxing, when you watch you watch someone get clipped and you'll be like, oh, that's not that bad. You watch it in slow motion, you see all their face everything looks so much worse in slow motion, and especially something like that. But I do think there's enough there for me. I would have given a red card. I think for me.
Yeah, I think he was ready to. Yeah, he was last man, and he would have got a shot off. It was kind of weird. I mean, Dean Smith was quite upset. Ironically, they could have ended up with 2 red cards in the same basically phase of play. What was it? House was the guy who elbowed, caught the West Ham player right in the face.
Flush.
I was like, if there's anything that looks bad on slow-mo, it's that. But I feel like with VAR, they know they're going to send off 1 player. They're not going to send off 2 players in the same. I mean, I'm sure it will happen eventually, but
I was just sitting there. You know what? I completely misread what you said there. I was talking about the elbow.
Both. I was talking about both.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
Okay. Well, you were talking about that. I'm talking about the last man, the actual red card in the end.
The last man. Sort of like I don't want. No, I'd say red card. Just maybe I'd say it's a little bit more than City's one, but only just. And then the elbow, what I was talking about earlier, I think that for me that was a red card.
Yeah. Potentially for me, I thought it was a red. Both a red card. Dean Smith, was quite upset, but he let slip that he thought potentially the house one was going to be a red card. So, I mean, it ended up fine. I mean, it was a red card in the end. I guess Carl will not be happy that we decided to send off both the players.
I can't change it because of Carl. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he's going to be more upset about Villa than he is us at this point.
Yeah, to be fair, and I have to we've given a lot of praise to Emi Martinez on this channel.
You have.
I have against my better judgment. But today he got caught out quite easily for 2 shots. 2 shots that cut inside, hit on the left, and then hit the bottom right corner of his.
You're talking Rice and Johnson goals.
Yes.
I disagree, right? Because we've seen it quite a few times. I think the Rice one, I think he was a little bit unsighted. So I think you can see for a split second he hesitates, right? But how many times have we seen it where someone kind of p-rollers a ball and it's going slowly, but it's right in the corner and the goalkeeper just can't get there. And I think that's what doesn't help him.
Yes, low quality goalkeeper.
You do see it sometimes, and it's like, oh, well, he could have got there, but it's actually in that real time. He's actually got to try and shift his whole body over them. By the time he would have done that, he wouldn't be able to get down for it. So I think don't get me wrong, it looks bad, but we see it time and time again. So at this moment in time, I'm not blaming Martinez.
Okay, fair enough. One final question on Aston Villa. How long does Dean Smith get to pull the ship around?
For me, so one really important thing has happened so far where he's changed system. He's gone back to a back four. And I think that's quite important because I think
back to bread and butter.
Well, it's that, and I feel like him trying to like kind of do the back three formation, it wasn't working for him. So he's gone back to what he knows, and I think he will do better with that. And for me personally, I would, at least for this season, I would give him for as long as Aston Villa aren't in relegation trouble. Mm-hmm. If he keeps them above the relegation battle, you know, good few points clear of that, I'd give him as long as he wants. I feel like he's earned that.
Yeah, my only issue is how do we judge Aston Villa? Do we treat them like a team that, you know, they performed really well last season, sold their best player, but reinvested their squad? Like, their expectations should be higher, right? Or do Aston Villa fans take a slice of humble pie and just be like, this season's a write-off? We're just going to do what we can this season, and then we're going to keep building from this season. And then fine. Then Dean Smith can do whatever he wants. He can wait to the very last game of the season and potentially save Aston Villa from relegation if it goes that bad. I don't think it's that bad at all.
I think for me, so he had a very bad season where he literally survived like kind of on the last day, and then he had a very good season. And I think for me, if I was an Aston Villa fan, look, you've lost one of the best players in the Premier League in Jack Grealish. They've tried to make up for that by going two up front. It hasn't worked, so now he has to try and figure a new way in a formation which I think he has a bit more experience in. Mm-hmm. So I think as long as he's actively kind of, as I say, stand above the relegation zone, and he's trying to work out this conundrum of how to get the best out of the players he's got, I think it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of, so I'd say 15th, between 15th and 10th is a realistic maybe expectation this season.
Okay. So on to the very next game of the week. And yeah, this is the part of the show that we say that we're a Man United podcast. Because again, we're talking Tottenham versus Man.
Should we just advertise as like kind of that's it? United fans are going to be upset. United fans are going to be up. Probably. We are so unbiased. They're going to be upset when like they're going to be like, "Oh, it should have been a red card." Like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, Tottenham versus Man United.
I tell you what, I was just going to say, the thing is, they can't say we're bad because we're doing them now, even though they absolutely pulverised my team. We are consistent, damn it.
Yes. This is my favourite part of the show currently. Tottenham. You've talked about them twice. 3-0 losers. Rough time for Tottenham. Really rough time. And they had a decent amount of results following the loss to Arsenal. They responded well, I thought. The football might not have been expansive or entertaining, which I guess it is a big factor for Tottenham fans. Yeah, but again, against Man United, again, it feels like against the big boys, right? Other than Man City, negative football reared its ugly head once again. Pretty weak, spineless performance against Man United. The problem I have, right, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United, they were under way more pressure. They looked like they were there for the taking, right? And during the game, it just didn't feel like Tottenham even tried. Like Nuno couldn't even motivate his players properly and get it right tactically. So that's where my problem is with Tottenham. You know, how do we break this game down from a Tottenham standpoint?
I think you're being a little bit harsh. I think it reverts back to a few things. I think, one, what we were talking about earlier, about him being a complete mismatch at Tottenham. So I feel like it's not just the fans that would have felt that. I feel like the players would have felt that as well. So that probably would have hindered him in trying to motivate his teams. And I think the negative approach and the tactics, it isn't a specific problem which happened against Manchester United, right? It's something that we've seen quite a few times under Nuno's Tottenham so far this season. And for me, there doesn't feel like to be much of a plan going forward. Do you know, it's like under like kind of Pochettino, there's like kind of a clear style. Even under Mourinho, is a bit more like kind of counter-attacking, like kind of they're to be a bit more of an implementation of a style going forward. And I haven't got that with Nuno yet. Well, I'm not going to get it at all. But he's only 4 months in. But the worrying thing for Tottenham fans is right now they are joint bottom on shots in the Premier League. Joint bottom, right? And the third lowest for XG. Right? So it's not that they're just like kind of they're shoot shy. Shoot shy? Yeah.
Shot shy.
Shot shy. Thank you for correcting my English. But they're not creating the chances either. And I think Nuno, do you know what I get the feeling, right? I feel like Nuno he was prioritizing trying to sort out that leaky defense, right? And well, I feel like he was trying to sort out the leaky kind of defense, and at the same time, maybe trying to fix like kind of the creativity issues that he had. And I feel like he's concentrating so much trying to fix the defense. We're not committing the players to the attack. And we saw it against Manchester United, right? Kane nabbed the ball back, right? He runs down the line. He looks up. He sees Son, and I think it was Bergwijn. They're both in the box, and there's 5 Manchester United players in the box or so. They're completely outnumbered. He hasn't got a chance picking one of them out. And that's what we've seen from Tottenham. They're just not able to get the bodies in the box to attack. And I feel like that's because he's putting too much emphasis on trying to keep a clean sheet.
On Harry Kane.
Yeah, go on.
The team, the manager, got a lot of boos. But there were definitely boos for Harry Kane.
Yeah, there was.
It was a first. Absolute first. Deserved, in your opinion?
No, because Nuno got booed, right? And Kane got booed. Like, they were definites. And I feel like Tottenham fans are booing at the situation, and I feel like once that starts, everyone's game, right?
Boo. Yeah.
Well, one person booing doesn't sound great. We've got 60,000 people boo. Is that what you do? Like, kind of, you do that.
Boo.
You're in a meeting and you're sitting there, someone said, boo.
You boo. You didn't pass to Sterling. Boo.
Okay. With Nuno, right? As I say, I think he's the wrong guy. I think he's getting the brunt of like kind of Tottenham fans' frustration at the club. And with Kane,
he's going through the motions. He's like, "Fuck, I'll try for the first half, but if it's going south, I'm like, fuck."
Do you know what it is with Kane? Right? Is he's not playing that well at all? Right? He's not playing that well, and I feel like the fans feel like he's not putting in 100%. And I feel like Kane, this is going to sound really weird, right? Bear with me in this one. Kane thinks he's putting in 100%, right? But I think subconsciously he's not. I feel like there's definite disappointment about the City move not materialising, which is on City's fault, by the way. But it's hard. They didn't pay his worth. They offered like 75 mil and 25 mil with add-ons, but they paid 100 mil for Grealish. Like, no.
Yeah, right? But what would you could have still taken the money and just been like, let's rebuild the squad. That's
not how football works. It never would have happened. The Arsenal wouldn't have done that. United would have done that. It just doesn't work. Especially we've got one of the best players in the world, right? Well,
you've got a player who was unhappy now, and you're gonna have to accept less next season.
No, but that's football, right? There's no club in the world who's going to take, let's say, a 50 million drop in what they perceive to be their value. But anyway, that's besides the point, right? I think Kane got the brunt of it, and I feel like a lot of Tottenham fans, they're maybe not understanding that. One, I feel like he is trying, and the other second thing, he's not getting service. He is not getting any service whatsoever. So even if he is actually trying 100%, he's got nothing to feed on. So not deserved for me. I back booing if you're unhappy at the situation at the club, but Kane does not deserve that, and neither does Nuno, I don't think.
No, Nuno didn't really deserve it. It's just, frustration at the situation.
But Kane and Nuno unfairly took the brunt, admittedly.
Yeah. Boo. Okay, Man United. I just want to keep saying boo. Very good response from Man United. We'll ignore just how poor Tottenham were for a brief second. And you've got to give credit to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the players. Had the quality That's the important thing. Had the quality in the end to break Tottenham down, right? Did we see in this game that the United players are still behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Because it could have been very easy for this Man United team just to, okay, well, like, look, if we lose this game and probably the next game, he's gone, all right? We can just kind of throw this because we don't believe in the tactics. But even it seemed like everyone was up for it, up for the show, and they put in a disciplined performance.
Firstly, I would not be surprised at all if after the Liverpool game there were a few players who thought Ole weren't the right man for the job. Probably still is now. But I thought Ole reacted really, really well, and I think he showed a little bit of experience,
grit.
Not grit. I would say he showed a little bit of nous by reverting to a back three. It was just a little bit safer. And he dropped some of the younger players. And I'll tell you why I think that's quite important, because I think he dropped Greenwood and Rashford, right?
Yeah.
And he brought in Cavani and Varane.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I think that's important, because I feel like young players are a lot more impressionable, right? They're a lot more emotional. And if they sit there and they didn't back Ole, they would probably let those emotions and kind of what's currently running through their head, they'd probably let impact their performance. Whereas if you look at the team he put out, the majority of them are very experienced performers who have been there and done it, right? They've seen lots of managers come and go. They've been in bad dressing rooms. They've been in good dressing rooms. And the likelihood of them letting that impact their performance is very low because they've been there and done it. Even regardless of what they feel about the manager, they will do their job because they've been there. It's unlikely like their emotions are going to get in the way of their performance. So I feel like that was a very smart move by Ole.
Well, on the point of playing 3-5-2, do you think this is the way that Ole's firstly like reducing the pressure and secondly pushing on to success with this 3-5-2 formation?
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
I got my opinions on it.
All right. Tottenham were a better team against Manchester United, right?
No.
No. Rewind. Wishful thinking, that is. Like, kind of, Manchester United were a better team against Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
There we go. But I would say that the goals that Manchester United scored were a mixture of sloppy defending by Tottenham, not like kind of mentally bad, but I'd say sloppy, right?
Yeah.
And individual brilliance.
Yeah.
And my point here is, yes, they looked better against Tottenham than they have done in recent weeks. But I cannot go out on a limb and say that the 3-5-2 is going to be like kind of the making or breaking of Ole.
No.
Based on beating what is a poor Tottenham side. Because the goals they scored, they could score against any team. Like Ronaldo's goal, was absolutely incredible. And there's probably only a handful of players in the world who can score that goal. And that's the individual quality that's getting you that goal, though. I wouldn't necessarily lead that down to like kind of the tactics or the coaching. So it's too early. And if he uses the 3-5-2 again, who's the next game? Manchester City. So you know what? If
3-5-2 to get a draw against Man City, I think would be a good result. I really think so. So potentially it'll be there to stay, but in long run, no.
I still don't believe Ole is the best man for Manchester United. I think they need a better manager.
Yeah, okay. We've gone over that. Right, we're talking about 3-5-2.
No, but I feel like even if he changes formation, I feel like his job's still not safe. I feel like it's only a matter of time. That's what I'm trying to say. And by the way, if they lose any more than 2-0 against Manchester City, all that pressure that he threw onto Nuno, which was a masterstroke, by the way. Absolutely. Like, literally, all that pressure he was feeling, he was like, and swipe it onto Nuno.
Live week to week. It's going to go back. 3-5-2. You go on.
Sorry, no, I was just going to add, if he loses any more than 2-0 against City, all that pressure is going to go straight back on him.
Yeah. 3-5-2. At the end of the day, the way I see 3-5-2, you add an extra defender, you take away an extra attacker. if your fullbacks aren't amazing, it's not it's not going to work in a long run. You've got Man United, who the pressure is on always to entertain and to score goals. 3-5-2, I think they'll come unstuck. Luke Shaw is a very good attacker. Wan-Bissaka can get up there, but output as a right wing forward is just not there.
I mean, let's be honest. When you think about a back three, who's the first man you think of? It's Conte, right? And at Inter Milan, he had Hakimi, who is probably one of the best right wing backs in the world, and he had Perisic, who he converted, but obviously he's such a fantastic kind of winger for majority of his career. You know, his attacking output was brilliant. You know, I wouldn't say United have anywhere near that kind of level of attacking creativity from their wing backs.
Yep. Okay, that's it. That's it about Man United. I'm not talking about Man United anymore.
Until it's like 5-5, like next game week. We can't ignore that. We cannot ignore it. Look, United fans, do us a 0-0. We'll leave you alone. That's all we
won't spout rubbish about Man United. So we're going on to goal of the week, and the winner of goal of the week is Man United. No, that's it. It is. I've got my nominees.
I have a feeling, I've only got one nominee. I have a feeling this goal of the week is heavily going to be based on who we think, if he meant it or not. So my goal of the week. And by the way,
he wasn't my goal of the week.
Well, because you're wrong. But can we just say, really quick, because we've run really long here, but what a fantastic comeback by Brighton. Liverpool got tied and they did really, really well, right? But my goal of the week is Mwepu. Yeah. So I'll take it you're coming from the school of thought they didn't mean it.
Yeah. No. It's not my goal of the week.
Can I be honest? I haven't seen any of the Liverpool Brighton interviews after. So if he's in the interview after and he's like, I didn't mean it, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, it's great. It is a great goal, but it's in I'm of the opinion that I'm not too sure about that one. But my winner is, I actually think I'm going Shea Adams.
I thought you won the
ball. Go... Yeah. I know. The other one is very close winner as well. Should be winner potentially too. Got the ball on the edge of the box, facing away from the goal, turned and just killed it into the top right. Perfect. I just like the audacity of that goal. But then I start thinking about Reece James and the fact that he's a fullback and he cut in on his left foot and he pinged it into the top corner. So it's very difficult. I just know that if I was a player, I would have rather scored Shea Adams' goal.
Nah, Mwepu all day long, mate. If I meant it. If
I gave a passionate speech about my goal of the week and you shut it down straight away. Shut it down. Okay.
Here's what I'm saying, right? But anytime there's an in-swinging goal to the far post, it wins. The technique to get that in. Again, assuming he meant it, I'll have to give him a call. I'll give him a call.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think is goal of the week in the competition and game of the week.
And losers.
Yes.
Winners and losers.
Winners and losers of the week. And tell us about Nuno and talk about Tottenham more to give Alex another heartache. That is the end of the show. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.